Welcome to the Basketball Fiends Podcast, a proud member of the Our Esquina Podcast Network. My name is Jesus Acevedo Jr., and with me today from his new home, well, his parents' home, but the place he calls home, is Alex Aguilera. How goes it, Alex?
That's accurate. That was good. That was good. That's totally accurate. Yeah, I'm not. I don't got the funds to have a place of my own just yet. We're working there.
Someone who lived with his parents until he was 26, until he got married, there's no shame at all.
Yeah, we gotta save up for that. I just started a job a month ago, so
right, baby steps. You know, baby steps. But hey, but this is you and your family's first home, so that's a big accomplishment for the whole Aguilera family.
Yeah, man. And I just got a car. My first car.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's how I should have said. For the first time as a car owner, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Aguilera. Well, that's awesome. Because I know you've been having not issues, but now that you have a job, now that you're a working man, you need a place to go from point A, which is your home, to point B, your occupation.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout outs to my mom. I was gonna pay her back if she's listening. I was gonna pay her back. But she went and got me the car because she knows I got loans and stuff to save up for. So it was a little birthday present. Well, not little. I mean,
that's actually another thing. Happy belated birthday. We didn't have a.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So happy belated birthday. You're what now? 20 now? You're just 20 years old now?
No, I'm 23. I'm 23.
I know, but you're just so young, baby face.
I know, yeah. My friend, a good buddy of mine, Kendall, shouts out to him. He thought last year I was turning 23. I was like, no, dude, I'm turning 22. So every year he's like, man, dude, you're a young man. I was like, dude, I know, man. Like, I've always been the youngest in my class. I hit my Jordan year, so it's.
There you go.
Cool.
There you go. It's in your Jordan year. You were speaking about, because now you're a working man. You're out there grinding. Another team that was known for grinding was the grit and grind Memphis Grizzlies, Alex. And the reason why we bring them up is because the Memphis Grizzlies, the grit and grind Grizzlies, while they didn't win the title or make it to the Western Conference Finals, were a beloved team in Memphis. And I argue across the NBA. And at least to me, I enjoy watching that grit and grind Grizzlies play because they were a team that just grinded teams down with defense. And this upcoming season, the Grizzlies will retire the jerseys of two players that played a huge role on those grit and grind teams, Tony Allen and Zach Randolph. Alex, what do you remember about those grit and grind teams?
Man, I remember those Grizzly teams like really going at it with. I remember the Clippers, that little rivalry that was going on where like they faced off in the first round. They just like did not like each other. It was all about like, oh, the Clippers are all glamorous, Lob City, the city of angels in Memphis. Kind of like a Detroit that we were talking about earlier. Very like blue collar, type of city. Very pride themselves and putting in work, and for them to brush off the Clippers. They were supposed to be like, oh, we're gonna take out the Lakers or whatever, and they just came in and then they went at it against the Spurs too.
They actually
forget about that.
And yes, in 2011 as an 8 seed, they took out the number 1 seed San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, and then I think they matched up with them again in like a Western Conference final. I want to say, was it?
I believe
one
so.
year.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say 1 year they met in the Western Conference final. So it was like they upset them, and then the Spurs beat them in a Western Conference final. But yeah, I think it was in 14.
I think it was
one 14. Of those, or 14 or 13. Yeah, one of those years where the Spurs went to the finals. I mean, obviously. But yeah, man, I feel like it's so bizarre. Like I remember those Grizzly teams kind of fondly. Like it was Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, like Mike Conley. That was like their little trio there.
Marcus Gasol.
Right, Marcus Gasol. Yep, Marcus Gasol. And like now Conley's on the Jazz. Marcus Gasol is on the Lakers. He's not the same player anymore. Zach Randolph's getting his jersey retired. Tony Allen, and it's like this team like 5-6 years ago was, a team competing in the West. And now like half of these guys are gone, not even playing anymore, and the other two are off on playing different teams.
Yeah, and look, these are the two jerseys. This will be the first time the Grizzlies retire any player's jersey. So this is monumental for the franchise. And look, Tony Allen was on the Green City Media Show where Chris Vernon dropped the news on him. He didn't know. He just thought that Zach Randolph was the only one. And just seeing his reaction, the emotion that poured out of him, you can see how much it really meant to him. And look, let's remind people that Tony Allen didn't start his career with the Memphis Grizzlies. He was drafted by the Boston Celtics, and he was crucial to their 2008 winning championship season. He joined Memphis in 2011. Since that point, Allen was named to the NBA All Defensive Team 6 out of 7 times from 2011 to 2017. Those are tremendous accomplishments for somebody that averaged 8.9 points per game his entire career. But he was a guy that when Tony Allen was guarding you, you were in for a long night, a long
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, I want to say when they did like the all decade like defensive team or whatever, I want to say he was on there.
He should have
Like
been.
how
I
right, if
don't
he should have
remember.
been.
Yeah.
I gotta look now. Now we gotta look that up. But
Now we
nah,
have to
man,
look
I
it up.
right now we gotta look it up. But no, man, Tony Allen was a guy that gave a lot of guys problems. Like whoever was the best player on the team, like that was Tony Allen's assignment. Like he was, you could argue he was one of the best, if not one of the best, like on ball defenders of the 2010s. Like dude just locked you down.
Top 5 for sure. I can't name many more off the top of my head, but he was definitely top 5. So he definitely, he earned that reputation. And now moving on to Zach Randolph, he bounced around the league a lot. He never really settled with the team. He was drafted by the Blazers and then played with the Knicks and the Clippers before finally signing with the Grizzlies in 2009. And that's when his career started to flourish. Zebo, as he was called, he wasn't the fastest, but he was one of the toughest power forwards in the NBA once he joined Memphis. During those 2010s, he had this finesse to his game, kind of like an old man playing in the YMCA. He had this like little footwork, soft touch, and once he paired up with Marc Gasol, they were a great tandem. The 5-4 tandem. Him at Gasol at the 5, Randolph at the 4. They were a tough team to play, and that's where the grit and grind era started for the Memphis Grizzlies. So it's really good to see Memphis make that. And look, once other players from that era retire, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, James Posey too, I would not be surprised to see their jerseys retire. And something that's real nice is that when they retire Tony Allen's jersey, I think they're doing it in Memphis when the Jazz come into town. So Mike Conley will be in attendance.
That's so cool, man.
Exactly.
I hope Conley gets his jersey retired there too, man. I
I
love Mike Conley.
Yeah, I know.
Mike Conley's like one of my favorite, like most underrated like players of all time that like people don't talk about, but I just I've always just like admired Mike Conley. Like he's always like been in Memphis, has always been like a consistent player. So that's cool that he'll be there for that.
His jersey will be retiring as well as Marc Gasol. I think once their career is over, because Mike Conley still has good years left. You touched upon it. Marc Gasol, he's not the same player he was. He's not as effective. Age, but Mike Conley, he's still doing it. He's still very effective for the Jazz. And no, Mike Conley is beloved in Memphis. Who's not beloved in Philadelphia is Ben Simmons, and we're talking about Ben Simmons because look. No one is surprised, but this is that Ben Simmons once out of Philly, right? The writing was on the wall, on the roof, on the floor. After the way the 76ers season ended, Ben Simmons was getting a lot of the blame, and there was no way he was going to return to Philly. And now he just said it. I don't want to play for Philly again. Chris Broussard, he was on the Odd Couple podcast, and he said that people that he's talked to in the NBA have told him that Ben Simmons is happy to play anywhere but Philadelphia. Now, at the time of this recording, there haven't been any realistic rumors about where he could land. People are throwing teams left and right, but they've been doing that the whole offseason. So my question to you, Alex, is where would you like to see him land?
Oh, where would I like to see him land? Ooh. Well, I know he wants to go to like a California team. Like, I mean, I think that fits his personality. But I remember a team that I saw that I actually think would be good for him just from a basketball standpoint in his development. I think like Minnesota for some reason. I had heard Minnesota.
I have seen that team turn around, and he's good friends with Karl Anthony Towns, if I'm not mistaken, and even Patrick Beverley tweeted out, "Hey, come on down,"
I think that I feel like Minnesota would be a good fit for him, just basketball wise. I mean, I don't know about him. Like I said, personality wise, like he seems like he really wants to go to California. He really likes that. Fancy lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, that Cali lifestyle, sun on the beach and all that. But I think, a place like Minnesota, you get humbled a little bit. in a place like that. And I think that would be, I think, a good place for him, not only just to develop his game, but just, him, Anthony Edwards, Patrick Beverly, Karl Anthony Towns, like that's like a nice little, and D'Angelo Russell. Oh my God, I almost forgot about him.
Well,
Like
see,
that's a nice little squad right there.
I was hoping you left out D'Angelo Russell because to make that move, they're going to have to trade somebody. And I think most likely, I think D'Angelo Russell is the odd man out because you're not going to trade Karl Anthony Towns. You're not going to trade Edwards.
Yeah.
So I think, and it makes sense. D'Angelo Russell with Joe Embiid at the 76ers, I could definitely see them playing well together. Now, the only thing is D'Angelo Russell doesn't give you the defense that Ben Simmons does. And speaking of defense, here's a team I would like to see Ben Simmons with, the New York Knicks. Now, I don't know what package the Knicks could offer, but I think he would be great with the Knicks and play under Tom Thibodeau. I think Tom Thibodeau will push him to become a better player, similar to how he pushed Jimmy Butler. He kind of ushered in the Jimmy Butler we know. He instilled that, not that Jimmy Butler didn't have that time, but he pushed even more out of it. So I think he needs that kind of coach. And look, it's New York, right? The spotlight. I know it's not California, but
it's
the
New York.
Spotlight, it's New York, exactly. And, him with Julius Randle, Derrick Rose. I mean, you still got RJ Barrett there, but who knows? Like I said, they may have to ship out RJ Barrett to Philly and maybe some future picks. But that's somebody that I would like to go after Ben Simmons. Now, both of these teams that we mentioned maybe doesn't happen, right? Because I know from what I read, Philly wants a hefty package, and I just don't know what team will be able to. Or will want to give up that hefty package for a player that doesn't want to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's been posting on like his Instagram or whatever that he's been working on his shot, and people are all like, "Oh, okay, like you're showing the shots that you make, but how many did you miss and all that?" And it's like, at least he's working on it. Finally, like, damn, man, we've been like mooching on this guy just to practice on his shot, and now that he actually kind of is, you're like, oh, okay, but how many of those did he actually make? And it's like, well, damn, it never stops.
You just can't win. You just can't win against fans. It's like, because just exactly like you said, okay, practice on your shot. Okay, well, now how many did you miss? So it's always, they're always gonna find something to poke a hole in. So
it's like, oh, you showed the ones that you made, but how many did you miss? And it's like, oh my God, man. This guy needs to just get out of Philly. Start fresh.
That's it. Just start fresh, And speaking of player movements, there have been a lot of player movements in the past week. So we're gonna try to hit on many as we can. We're gonna start off with Rajon Rondo, who has re-signed with the Lakers. And to be honest, I think this more than anything, it's an insurance policy. Russell Westbrook will definitely get the bulk of the minutes. But also, we could definitely see more Rondo come playoff time. So for me, I think it's more of an insurance policy for the Lakers, Alex.
Yeah, no, honestly, you hit it right on the button. I definitely see it as, like you said, an insurance policy. Just kind of back up where it's like, hey, obviously Westbrook is going to be the guy. I mean, he can still average a triple-double. I mean, we saw him do it last year. I think we forgot about it just because he was in Washington. Unfortunately, not to bash on Washington, but it was just kind of like, he's over there and we kind of just forgot about him a little bit. And now that he's with the Lakers, well, if he averages another triple-double, it's like, oh, okay, that's perfect for the Lakers. But you look at Rondo too. I mean, he's been there. He won with them in 2020 in the bubble. So he knows that system. He knows what Frank Vogel likes and what he likes to run. So I feel it's like a very safe acquisition for them.
Definitely. And then also Clint Capella, he has been rewarded for his play with the Atlanta Hawks, who chose to give him a 2-year extension. And look, that's a well-deserved extension by Clint Capella. He was instrumental and is instrumental to what the Hawks are doing. He's a center who can block and rebound and can easily grab lobs from Trae Young. So this was like no surprise.
No, yeah, no doubt. Oh, I mean, I know him in his time with Houston.
Yeah,
that was one of your guys. So I mean, a little bit more of a traditional big man per se, has some athleticism with him, but I think
still young
him
too.
up, right? Still young, and maintaining that front court with him and John Collins, it's nice. And we saw the Atlanta Hawks, make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals. So why not try to lock these guys up and make another run? And the thing is, they have youth on their side, which is awesome. So you figure they made a run like that at their age. Just imagine what they're gonna do now, with that experience and getting older and just getting more reps in. So I mean, yeah, watch out for those Hawks.
Definitely. then elsewhere, Laurie Markkinen, formerly with the Bulls, is now with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And for me, for Laurie, I think it's a fresh start for him. Now he needs to prove that he's the player everyone thought he would be coming out of college. What can you say about Markkinen? I know you saw him play more there with the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, his rookie year, we were really excited about him. I mean, I think he averaged close to 20, points or something like that. So we kind of saw him as like, sort of a Kristaps Porzingis like 2.0 kind of deal. That was sort of the comparisons we were getting from him. And then sophomore year, he had a little bit of that sophomore slump. We were like, okay, you know what, it happens. Let's see how he comes out of that. And you just kind of saw this regression little by little. And that was kind of like frustrating and disappointing to see. You were just kind of like, wow, you got, really amped up, really excited from that rookie year. And he just, didn't seem to really replicate that. You saw, moments here and there, but he could never really like bring it all together. And so when it came to the point of him saying like, I want a contract, I want money. And it's like, you didn't really like, I don't
sure
know.
About that?
Right. It's like you haven't really shown improvement. You've shown sort of the opposite of it. And, it's one of those things. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. But I think, like you said, Cleveland would be a nice fresh start for him. And I think what the Bulls got out of that deal, getting Derrick Jones Jr., another dunk contest champion, a lot more athleticism with the Bulls.
Athleticism, yes.
Right, but I think the big thing was the draft picks, because the Bulls definitely, with these moves that they've been making, they lost a lot of draft picks. So getting that, I think secured first round pick from Portland was big, and then they also got a second round pick. So we definitely needed that.
Yeah, and now moving on to a veteran power forward, Paul Millsap. Sorry, Paul. Look, you can come on the show. I'm sorry, Paul. I apologize. Come on the show and talk trash to me, Paul Millsap. Standing invitation to come on. Paul Millsap.
Never heard that before.
I don't know what came
sorry.
over me. It's probably this Landshark lager that I'm drinking. Great light beer. Landshark, you can sponsor us.
That one.
Woo! Okay, let me get back to okay. So Paul Millsap, the veteran power forward, has signed with the Nets, and to me, this move screams of a veteran just chasing a ring. And look, at this point in his career, that's fine. He's made his money now. He wants an opportunity to play on the biggest stage, which is the NBA Finals, and the Nets give him the best opportunity to do that. He's gonna be a player that comes off the bench. They're not asking him to carry the team. Just hey, some games he may not even play, but look. If there are times when, hey, we need you to play 2025, he can still do that. But it's just him trying to get a chance to get a ring, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know what you're going to get out of Paul Millsap. You saw what he did in Denver, was super efficient there, gave them a little scoring as a big man, as a power forward, and he's been in the league like, what, 15 years?
I want to say, yeah.
It's weird. Like, I feel like he hasn't been in the league that long, but he actually has, and it's kind of scary. Like Paul Millsap's a 15-year vet. Like I remember when he was with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Like it was him. I think like Marvin Williams.
Oh yeah. Second round pick Marvin Williams that didn't really live up to that. But anyways.
that's another. But yeah, man, has just always been like really consistent throughout his career. I remember that one off year in 15 where the Hawks were like really good. It was like him, Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague. Al Horford, and don't forget
Joe Johnson, I believe.
Joe Johnson. Oh my God, yeah. I want to say Joe Johnson. Yeah, and they were like all stars for that, like 1 year.
Coached by Mike Budenholzer, now an NBA champion coach.
Yeah. So yeah,
that was the year where it was like everybody was in the East Coast was all about the Hawks, and the West Coast was all about the Golden State Warriors. That was that year. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, hey, you can't blame him. He's paid his dues. He's just trying to, reach that ultimate goal like LaMarcus Aldridge too. Hopefully he comes back and he's healthy, ready to go. So hopefully, who knows, for him, he's popping champagne at the end of the season and not popping pills.
Well, speaking of LaMarcus Aldridge, he has been cleared to return to the NBA after being forced to retire in April when he experienced an irregular heartbeat in a game. And look, this is great news for him. I don't think we thought that this would be possible, that he would even make an attempt back. But look, he's clear, and he's another one of those veteran power. Look, he's been in the league 16, 17 years now, same as Paul Millsap. give or take. Look, rumors are circling that the Nets are the front runners to sign him, and I actually think that's a good spot for him because he'll be kind of like Paul Millsap, just spot minutes here and there. Maybe some games he may go for 20, 25. And look, he always has that shot. And if you have a shot, a consistent shot, you will always have a place on any team in the NBA. So, here at the Basketball Fiends, we definitely want to say thank God that he's back because he was a good player in the NBA. His career kind of took a little bit of a dip with the San Antonio Spurs. Not the player that we remember with the Portland Trailblazers with him that, whenever he was paired up with Brandon Roy and, Damian. So, but yeah, he was definitely it would be good to see him back in the league.
Yeah, man. It was like when you heard the news about that irregular heartbeat, it was like, man, like he still has a little bit in him. And for it to kind of just be taken away, ripped away like that, trying to make a championship run with the Nets, I'm really hoping, thankfully that he can come in this year. It looks like he's clear to play. He's ready to go and, he can try again. So at least he has that opportunity.
Yeah, and look, what you see play of the Brooklyn Nets this season as they have 26 nationally televised games, including 10 on ESPN. And speaking of ESPN, Alex, I have a bone to pick with them. And more specifically, the author of the article that I am about to reference, her name is, and I hope I'm saying this right, Michelle Bopel. And I hope I'm saying it right because Michelle is spelled Mechelle, which is the first time that I've ever seen that spelling of the name Michelle. So the reason why I bring up this article is because it was an article where they ranked the best WNBA franchises of all time, right? I think the WNBA is entering its 25th season, and so they decided to rank them. So my bone specific to pick with them was who they had ranked fifth. Let me go to the top four before I go to fifth. Number one was Seattle Storm. Okay, I could see it. 4 titles. They're they're a very popular team, right? Okay. Number two was the Minnesota Lynx. Okay, 4 titles. They've been in the league since 1999. Okay, I can see it. Number 3 was the Los Angeles Sparks. 3 titles. It's Los Angeles. I guess, right? I mean, I could definitely have put them more down a little bit. Okay, fine. Number 4 was the Phoenix Mercury. 3 titles, another popular team, Diana Taurasi, Skylar Diggins. So, names, right? Number 5 on the list was the Houston Comets. I feel like that's just a slap in the face to the Houston Comets franchise. Granted, they're no longer in existence, but the Houston Comets have 4 titles. They won the first 4 titles in WNBA history. And here's how the article said, because the article had a high point for each team and a low point for each team, right? The low point for the Houston Comets was the franchise folded during the height of the global financial crisis after the 2008 season. So their low point is that because of the global financial crisis, that's the low point. Are you kidding me? Seriously, because everybody was struggling it's global. They had it on the global financial crisis. You're telling me that's the low point for this team? This is how great this franchise was that they couldn't find any other low point. They're like, well, they're no longer a franchise, so that's a low point. And it happened during the global financial crisis, not even during times were okay. No, a global financial crisis caused the team to shut down. So that's my gripe, where I feel they should have been top 3 all-time franchise. So that's my gripe. And now I will say in the article, this is what they specify. They say the main ranking criteria are success and standout players, although franchise longevity played a factor too. Like they just kind of threw that in there because they're like, and I think they realized that they're like, we have the comments at 5th. What can we do in the
justify that, right?
to justify that? Because, but that's my gripe with them having it. To me, the comments need to be top 3. End of the discussion. But that's me.
Yeah, you make a fair point where it's like the low point is that global financial crisis forced them to fold, and it's like that was kind of out of their control. I mean, shit was really bad. Shit was really bad
globally.
Like
shit
it wasn't
bad.
just the US. Yeah, like economy was like not good at all. So for that to be the low point, it's like, all right, outside of that, I mean, 4 in a row to start off, like the WNBA in general, like just the inaugural season, they win it. And, they were the trailblazers, they were sort of the reason why you see the Minnesota Lynx, have their little dynasty in the 2010s, the Seattle Storm now, the Sparks with Lisa Leslie and all that. So, they kind of put like women's basketball on the map, you may argue, especially with Cheryl
Thank
Swoops. I
you.
mean, she
Yeah,
was like,
Cynthia Cooper.
right, Cynthia Cooper. I think Cheryl Swoops was like the first female athlete to get her own like signature basketball shoes.
Yes.
So I mean, people kind of forget like the groundwork the Houston Comets set, and it really is unfortunate that they folded, and since then they somehow haven't been able to come back for some reason. It's sort of like just this little pocket in history where they were just like magic. They were just like on top, so dominant, and then just all of a sudden it just poof, gone like that.
And see, and I think even ESPN alludes to everything you say. They said the comments were so crucial a part of the early the comments were so crucial a part of the early WNBA and left such an impression that it's still sometimes hard to believe they've been gone for more than a decade. And it is, it's
Yeah,
so crazy to believe that Houston doesn't have a WNBA franchise, but they hit it right there. They really the comments were the WNBA for those first 5 seasons.
yeah,
They had so much great momentum. They had star power, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Soup, Tina Turner, Kim Parrott, who actually died in 1999, and the comments dedicated the season to her because she died of cancer. But the comments were 98-24 in the regular season and 16-3 in the playoffs in the league's first 4 years. That is just astonishing. And also for you to
yeah,
just put them fifth, I feel it's just a disrespect to them.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
I go ahead, go ahead.
Like
So
I
I feel
like
like
I
I've
know
been
I
talking
like
enough.
I know it grinds your gears because you're a Houston guy. So that alone is gonna piss you off. But even just from an outsider's perspective, I mean, I see that, and it's kind of like, okay, like, Seattle, Minnesota, LA, I get it. I mean, you got Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Lisa Leslie. That's three out of your, Mount Rushmore as far as, WNBA, players. And, when you kind of like, I would even argue, as much as I love Diana Taurasi, like she's my GOAT, like I would not put the Phoenix Mercury over, the Houston Comets, maybe not even the Sparks. I mean, you could maybe argue the Seattle Storm and the Minnesota Lynx just because the success that they've had and the longevity of that success. But when you look at Phoenix and LA, it's like, yeah, they've had their successes, but they had some periods where they just were not,
Yes,
good. They just were not good at all. And you looked at Houston, and I mean, granted, like from the get-go, when the whole WNBA just formed, like they were the gold standards, they were the blueprint, for, or not for success, but just how to succeed in that league. And so yeah, to throw them fifth is a little, yeah, like that's a little low. That's a little low.
and look, if we just go by the championships, right? 3 teams have won the title, the WNBA title 4 times: Seattle, Minnesota, and Houston. And you got Houston fifth.
Yeah, yeah,
Seattle. I personally would have put Houston third. Because of that, because they're no longer a franchise. But look, it's a big low point. But again, it wasn't their fault. It's a global financial
right.
crisis. How many other big institutions crumble during this financial crisis? But just going by the titles alone, I would have put them third.
Yeah,
Because someone's like if you're saying those 4 titles don't count, it's like saying to Boston, "Oh, all your titles before 2008 don't count because they were such a long time ago, right? Because you haven't
man.
won. You won in 2008, and then before that, you hadn't won since 1986. So
Right.
to me, it's if at least you're going by titles. But yeah, but that's my
Yeah,
gripe with this ESPN
yeah.
article.
And it's like not even just titles. It's like the WNBA just celebrated like their 20. I believe it's this year,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
past season.
it's
It's
past
this
season.
year, right? Right.
Yeah,
They just celebrated their 25th season. You know, Part of that is in credit to the Houston Comets and literally putting that league on the map pretty much. Like
yeah.
it kind of makes you wonder, like another what if topic. What if the Houston Comets weren't what they were, for those first 4 seasons?
Yeah.
Does the WNBA, maintain the longevity, that it has? Do we have a Las Vegas, Aces? Do we start having these, expansion teams? Is the WNBA, excuse me, able to finally, it's long overdue, be able to nab these national broadcast games like on ESPN, like on ABC? It makes you wonder. And the Houston Comets, the league really does, owe it to those teams early on.
What other gripe with this article? Just to get out of the Houston, because yes, it is a gripe because I'm from Houston, but they
Yeah.
have Sacramento Monarchs at 10, and they have one title. Number 9 is the Connecticut Sun, who have no titles. So the only reason why they put Connecticut Sun 9 and put Sacramento Monarchs 10 is because the Sacramento Monarchs folded in 2009, maybe due to the global financial crisis as well. But the only reason is because Connecticut Sun are still a team, but they have no titles to their name. So that's another one that I would have put the Sacramento Monarchs over them because they have one title. And look, winning a title in any league, mind you, any league is always hard. So I question the ranking of these franchises. Those are my two main gripes. Obviously, the Houston one being the main one.
Yeah, but I don't know, just the reasoning for the like a team folding as a factor in top teams ever. I mean, it's still a fairly young league. Not all teams are gonna make it. It's gonna happen. It's happened with the big ones, the Major League Baseballs, the NFLs, the NBAs, the
Seattle
NHLs. They've all had
Supersonics.
teams. Right.
The Seattle Supersonics moved to Oklahoma. The only reason why Seattle stayed was because a group of an organization of women, I can't remember their name, they bought the franchise. That's the only reason why Seattle Storm was able to stay. But it's happened,
Yeah.
just like you say.
Right. And it's like you look at just to stick on the topic with Seattle and the Supersonics, like we still talk about them to this day and how everybody wants the Supersonics to come back. And they only won one title, and that was like back in 1974 or something like that. Like back in the 70s, like dude, and they're still talked about, to this day. They're still regarded as just a memorable franchise. And you look at the WNBA, granted there aren't as many teams, but to throw Houston at like fifth, I know we're swinging it back to the Comets. It's just like, I don't know. It's just to swing them at that spot, just to say it was all because they folded in a way, which is unfortunate. But it's like, hey, like when are we gonna bring the Comets back? Like the WNBA is already talking about expanding and they're growing. It's like bring back the Comets. Like
bring back the Comets. Yes.
Like it's such a easy decision, it seems like. And even freaking Adam Silver's talking about bringing the Sonics back. Like when they eventually expand, they're like, yes, Supersonics are at the top of the list. Well, that should be top of the list for the WNBA. Just bring back the Comets. Make everybody happy.
There you go. Simple as that. And yeah, those are all the topics we have for today. We kind of went up on a tangent. Started by me, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But look,
man, you swung me into it too, man.
I swung you into it. Look, if the author of the article wants to come on, Michelle, you're more than welcome. We can discuss your rankings. You have a standing invitation. Same as Paul Millsap.
Not to bash her. We just respectfully disagree.
That's it. Yeah, respectfully disagree.
Respectfully disagree.
It was a well put together article. Just issue the rankings. But
Alex, before we go, maybe rearrange it a little bit. That's all.
That's it. It's a good top 5. Just
I like that top 5. Rearrange it a little bit, but
that's it. But Alex, before we let go of these fine good people that are listening to us, what are your plans for this weekend?
This weekend, I'm going to my cousin's house. Finally, he had gotten a new house. I think now it's been over a year, but he's been fixing it up.
Okay.
I want to see that kitchen because he was a chef. He did go to culinary school, and so this man can cook. Yeah, this man can cook. I mean, he's not in the restaurant business anymore, but the man can still cook. Like that doesn't just go away. And like I saw like the oven that he got. He's got one of those. I think he invested in one of those like island table things. I don't know what they're called. But like this dude like went all out on his kitchen, and rightfully so. So like obviously I want to see the rest of the house, but that kitchen, like I want to see what he did.
Well, you better post some pictures on Twitter because now you got me intrigued to see what he comes up with. Because if he's got the whole family coming over, he's going to show off. You know it.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. What you got planned though?
That's great. What do I got pen actually? I don't know. I actually don't know.
See,
I have nothing
see,
planned.
see.
You put me on the spot. I didn't think you're going to be asking me. I actually don't
It's
have much
hard.
planned. It's hard, right? It's hard. It'll just be one of those days, one of those weekends where I just wing it. Today, Friday. I mean, we're recording this on Thursday, but you're listening to on Friday. So I'll be covering the Houston Dynamo game Friday. But then Saturday and Sunday, don't know. I'll probably do some writing and I don't know. I'll probably wing it. Something will come up. Maybe just watch some movies,
Fair enough. See,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sometimes it's good to just not have anything planned. It's just, hey, whatever happens, happens.
There you go. But what needs to happen, people, is you need to listen and you need to subscribe to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify. Hit subscribe on this YouTube channel. This is our third video that we'll have on YouTube channel. But thank you so much again for listening. See ya.
Deuces.